Welcome to this explainer. Today, I really want you to just think of me as your executive mentor because, well, we're going to tackle a fundamental dynamic that literally dictates not just your entire career trajectory, but the actual day-to-day reality of your team. For decades, the professional world has thrown around the terms leadership and management like they're totally interchangeable. But they're not. They are absolutely not. And honestly, misunderstanding the difference between the two, that's one of the most common career roadblocks I see. So today, we're going to strip away all those corporate buzzwords and look at the actual mechanics of both. So, I want you to ask yourself honestly right now, are you a manager who leads or a leader who manages? And more importantly, does confusing the two even matter? Well, I'm here to tell you it absolutely does. If you're looking at your team and they seem constantly busy but rarely actually productive, or maybe they're compliant but just completely uninspired, confusing these two concepts is highly likely the exact reason why. You might literally be applying a management solution to a leadership problem, or vice versa.
Section 1, the great career confusion, defining your actual role. Okay, let's dive right into this.
The reality of the modern workplace is that organizations desperately need both of these functions just to survive, let alone thrive. You basically can't scale without management, and you definitely can't evolve without leadership. But before we can fix your team's dynamics or, accelerate your own career, you've got to diagnose which hat you're actually wearing at any given moment. So let's start by defining management. At its core, management is essentially a science. It's deeply rooted in processes, in planning, and in control. When you're operating in management mode, you're focused on answering three very specific tactical questions. What needs to be done? By when does it need to be completed? And with what resources are we going to achieve it? The entire goal here is to take organizational chaos and turn it into efficiency, predictability, and order. Now, when we break that down, effective management really relies on four core traits: planning, processes, performance, and control. Think about it. Great managers are absolute masters at setting crystal clear targets. They allocate resources, whether we're talking time, money, or people, with incredible precision. They consistently monitor performance against those targets, and above all, they reduce risks to create consistency. Basically, they're the ones ensuring the trains run on time every single day. So, if we distill the management persona down to its absolute essence, a manager is a system builder. To really excel here, your ultimate traits need to be highly organized, incredibly analytical, and relentlessly goal-driven. You are quite literally the architect of the framework that allows the day-to-day work to actually happen. Now, let's move to the other side and see how this builds. Because if management is a science, leadership is an art. It completely shifts the focus. Leadership isn't fundamentally about the how, it is deeply, deeply rooted in the why. You aren't just assigning tasks or optimizing a process here. You're aligning human beings to a shared mission. It's about purpose, it's about culture, and it's about driving necessary change. And because of that, the four core traits here look remarkably different: vision, inspiration, trust, and growth. Leaders carry this heavy responsibility of building culture, and they do that through deep empathy and unwavering conviction. They are the ones who have to drive crucial organizational change, and they often have to do it even when the path ahead is entirely unclear and the data is completely incomplete. They're essentially pulling the team forward into the unknown. So, distilling this side down, a leader is a vision driver. While our manager was analytical and organized, the key traits of a true leader are being visionary, empathetic, and highly decisive. And again, that decisiveness is most critical when you're operating with that incomplete information. It's having the courage to step forward and bring people along with you when there's absolutely no established process to fall back on. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast when we put them head to head. Look at the tasks. Management asks what and how, while leadership asks why and who. In terms of style, managers direct, whereas leaders inspire. And look at the goals. Management is chasing efficiency, squeezing the absolute most out of what already exists, while leadership pursues innovation, actively looking for what doesn't exist yet. And finally, the approach. Management is inherently short-term, think quarters, while leadership requires a much more long-term approach, thinking in years. Now, I want to draw your attention specifically to the power source. A manager's power is derived from their title, its role authority that's been granted by the organization. A leader's power, however, is derived from trust, its earned respect from the people. So the crucial point is that this specific difference changes absolutely everything about how people perform for you. People comply with the title, sure, but they will go above and beyond for someone they actually trust. Which brings us to the million-dollar career question. Can you be both? As a mentor, I hear this all the time. And the answer is yes, you absolutely can be both. And honestly, to reach the highest levels of your career, you must be both. But there is a catch. You can be both, but rarely at the exact same time on the exact same task. You have to actively know which mode you're operating in. Now, what's really interesting here is how this grounds the theory in the real world. Top professionals are constantly switching modes, which, let's be real, can cause absolute whiplash. Take a startup founder. In the morning, they're leading the vision and inspiring investors. But by 2 p.m., they are managing operations and tightly controlling cash flow just so the lights stay on. Or look at a corporate department head. They're tasked with leading a massive digital transformation, which takes deep empathy and inspiration, while simultaneously managing the weekly budget reports. It's a constant, deliberate toggle between the two mindsets. So as you navigate your career, I want you to remember this. The magic is truly in the blend. Organizations fundamentally require both mindsets to survive. Because if you only manage, if you only ever focus on process, control, and efficiency, you're going to eventually crush innovation and literally suffocate your team's spirit. But on the flip side, if you only lead, if you only focus on the grand vision and the why without building the systems to actually get there, you're going to crash on execution. Mastering this hybrid approach, that is your ultimate career advantage. So I want to leave you with this provocation. Take a step back and look at your current role, your current team, and your current challenges. Which one are you right now? Are you leaning heavily on management, or are you stepping up in leadership? And most importantly, which one does your team actually need more of from you today? I'd love for you to reflect on your own career trajectory and just drop your answer in the comments. Let me know if you're managing, leading, or balancing the blend. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and go give your team exactly what they need today.